Yeah. Yeah, I'm loving the StreamYard thing. What's up? What's good? What's popping? What's cracking? What's percolating? What is really good in the hood? It is your man Theo Butler. I am way too close to the camera. Ooh. Before we begin, like, share, subscribe. If you like, leave a comment. If you do not like, leave a constructive comment. Why? Because if you know me, grow me, sharing is caring. So, was not planning on coming today. Was not gonna come till tomorrow. Uh, later on, right? Comic book reviews. That's what the game. That's what the plan was. Comic book reviews. But I got asked a question. How did I feel about Dr. Ewing's current run on Black? Come on, yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Rock at Black Panther fan group in the building. I got asked a question in regards to Dr. Ewing, how I felt about her current run, and y'all know me. I believe in giving credit where credit is due. So let me go back to it. This was from Zango Fett. Thank you, Zango. Love when y'all be creating content. Zango Fett. Looks like the Black Panther fan base is very much split on opinions on Eve Ewing's run. The problems I had were the pacing, the Gotham like Batman aesthetic, BP finding himself again, but other than that, it was fine. What about you guys? Now, my initial response was, and I can't stand when people do this to me. I can't. But my initial response was, until I see some type of facts, all I have are internet rumors. I've done my own digging to no avail. So as of now, I don't have a comment. That's not what he asked me. He didn't ask me if it was getting canceled. He asked me how did I feel. And I had to go back. You know what? I did not answer your question. You didn't ask me that. Hate when people do that. I know hate is a strong word, but I really do hate when people. What's going on, Ronnie? I really do hate when people answer my question with an answer that did not fit the question. So, one man's opinion. It's just mine. And I'm not saying my opinion is the right opinion. I'm not saying it's the wrong opinion. What I'm saying is just my opinion. That's all. That's it. That's it. So do not come in the comment section trying to convince me about your opinion. You don't have to. It's your opinion. It's your opinion. I hate. Why are you arguing somebody's opinion? It's an opinion. Okay, so what have I gotten from Dr. Eve Ewing's currently 8 issues overall as a reader? I've gotten an overarching story. We've seen the big bad, but T'Challa hasn't really faced the big bad. Her story covers several issues. As a matter of fact, this is an ongoing story arc. It hasn't had a conclusion. I would say that with it being an overarching type of story, there are no what some of us have come to see in regards to some comic book stories in the past. You have one and done. Like hero takes on a villain, minor scuffle, hero faces off on the villain maybe twice in the comic books, loses the first fight, comes back in the second fight. By the end of the story, the hero is triumphant. I'm not sure when I look at the comic book writers and some of the greatest stories that we've told that have been told X-Men, I'm sorry, Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals was a long story arc, and you would have liked to have thought that because it was over a whole bunch of different comic titles, that each comic title would have had a resolution within that comic title. No, that's not what happened. You didn't get the resolution to the very end. See how that's frustrating. If I go back to Don McGregor's run, his run was similar to Ewing'S, except his story arc had many stories within it. But it was a long story arc. You knew right off the rip, Killmonger was the big bad, and we had to get to that point. And in the journey of us getting to that point, you came across Venom, uh, you came across Malice, you came across King Cadaver, Baron Macabre. You came across those. I want to say Salamander the Cruel. You came across those characters. Those were skirmishes, many skirmishes, if you will, throughout that storyline. Wakanda was portrayed visually as a third world country. It did not mimic the visuals that we got in Black Panther. I'm sorry, in Fantastic 452. Christopher Priest started off his Black Panther run by bringing T'Challa from Wakanda to New York, Gotham, if you will, and used Everett Ross to be the eyes and ears to T'Challa's world for readers to be able to relate. There's even a picture in one of Priest's run where you have T'Challa and you have Everett Ross dressed up as Robin. You did have quite a few different story arcs, if you will. Ijs was a brilliant story arc. I don't think we got enough of that one. We did see Eric come back. I think it's safe to say that Christopher Priest was pretty good at giving you stories, short stories, if you will, short stories. That Batman reference is there though, and there is that upheaval in Wakanda, and you do have T'Challa having to find himself, which is why we found Kevin Cole picking up the Black Panther uniform. T'Challa had to find himself. We got that because T'Challa looked like he had a natural, had one of them Book of Elias, whatever. You know the afro that you really ain't doing nothing with. It's just growing crazy. T'Challa had that. Uh, Then we got the Reginald Hudlin run. And Reginald Hudlin was another good writer at telling many stories with the overarching story. He was very good at doing that. We do get Rebellion. We do get the nonsense with, I'm gonna call it nonsense. We do get the nonsense with Sion losing to T'Challa. I'm not going with that. Please don't inbox me. No foolishness talking about the Black Panther enhanced with superhuman abilities lost to a human. Don't do that. Because we're not making that excuse for nobody else. So please don't. We do have Rebellion in Wakanda again. We do. But we do have the pleasant introduction of Shuri. I say pleasant because I know some people might have mixed feelings about Kevin Cole, but to me that was pleasant. Storyline, shaky, kind of shaky. His storyline with his dad, it's kind of shaky, kind of shaky. So we get Shorty. That was a 12-issue story arc, by the way. It was. And I can't say we got her to fight the big bad because we knew early on in Deadliest of the Species, the big bad was Dr. Doom. She don't get to face off on him until the Black Panther series has come to a close. She doesn't face off against him until Doom War. That was an overarching series. It was 2 different writers, Reginald Hudlin, Jonathan Mayberry. 2 different writers. Overarching story. Minimum run-ins here and there because who was the villain during the Deadliest of the Species? It was Moreland. And the story wasn't about Moreland. It was mostly about Shorty and her having to be unselfish to receive the abilities of the Black Panther from Bash because she didn't get them initially. So it was her putting herself to the side for the whole of Wakanda. Then there was another villain in Jonathan Mayberry's portion of it. Can't really remember her name. That's how much we've seen her twice. Once in Jonathan Mayberry's run, and the next time in the Wakandan miniseries. I think issue 5, if I'm not mistaken. And we get Coates' run. Coates is a storyteller. And I do not believe that Coates told stories within the story. No, I'm almost, especially if I look at the Intergalactic Empire, like that was an overarching story. There was no, in my opinion, many stories within the story. No, that was an overarching story. The big bad was symbiote in Dajaka. That was in Dajaka. That was the big bad. And you didn't get that face off to the end. Like you knew he was gonna be the big bad, but that was a story. I would almost want to say it was a graphic novel, if you will, the way it was written. Wasn't necessarily written like a comic book. Not that we are used to in regards to 80s, 90s comic book style where you got this the story might take 1 issue, the story might take 2 issues, might take 3, but by then you're done. You on to something different. Now that's Coates didn't write like that. The Deadliest of the Species, that took 6 issues. Power took 6 issues. Doom War took 5. Casper Cole, he had, that was a 12-issue run. Don McGregor, it's pretty long. And then we have the run from last year, 15 issues of I do not know what, why, how, nothing. I don't, oh my God. Because if I'm mad at what she doing or I'm not satisfied with what she doing, oh my God, how do I feel about what he did? Like, oh, good God Almighty, Jesus. Like, and I don't even want to do it like that because I'm like, I shouldn't be comparing them two because that's not fair at all. But oh my God, if I got complaints about what she was doing, oh my God, what type of complaints did I have about what he was doing? Oh my God. Let me keep up with the notes. let me go all the way back. What's going on? Come on, yo. What's going on, Ronnie? Oh, what's going on, Connoisseur Triple Salute? What's going on? What's going on? Oh man, what's going on, Juju? Thank y'all so much for pulling up, man. Oh my goodness, they did you and dirty. She should have had at least 15 issues like the last guy. So, whoo, Jesus. So how do I feel about her run? Well, I mean, the clone saga lasted longer, and it was way worse. Now, I don't have any proof one way or the other that is ending at issue 10. I did go to Marvel Fandom. I did take a look at the covers that are in advance. While they do allude to issue 11, you're not able to click on that. What does that mean? That means I'm not able to click on it. That's all that means to me. I'm not able to click on it, so I don't know. I don't know. And I've been Googling. I've been Googling my butt off. Y'all got to excuse me while I take a sip from the cup. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's grape soda. It's grape soda. It's grape soda. We will not be mentioning any more name brands. We're not doing that no more. I like grape soda. It's purple. It is the color of Wakanda. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. Comic Geeks has issue 10 listed as the final issue. Comic Geeks. Well, in the solicits, what I will say is this. It does say that that is the final battle, per se. What's going on, Chad? What's going on, Chad? So y'all heard me go over those comic book runs. You heard me, right? Okay. I didn't mention his 4-issue run when he was in Wakanda and had to fight another Panther for Bassett's approval because she felt like he wasn't handling his business and he had to take on some superpowered races. I don't know how many times I'm gonna be able to say that in the state of Florida because last I checked, we're supposed to be getting that outlawed here soon where you can't use the word racist. How we doing it? But so you got that. T'Challa eyes was green. He had them little prolonged canines and everything like that. So it would be to me what would be my expectations as an editor at Marvel, editor-in-chief, if you will. And I apologize because I know that's probably not really answering the question. If I have to answer the question is, I see no reason to cancel the comic book. But then again, I see no reason for people to be as if you read comics, that's not the first person that wrote like that. She's not the first person. We really finna act like that. Hickman don't write like that. Brian Michael Bendis don't write like that. Like I'm not finna do that. We not finna act like we ain't read no story arcs where they've been long as hell. Like I can't do that. Like I can't. Yes, that I have read some story arcs where okay, it's wrapped up in 1, 2, 3 issues. I have, but I ain't gonna act like some of the people we be capping for as some of the best comic book writers out there don't write like that. I'm not gonna do that. I know a few people who were so turned off by the Ridley run, they didn't even give. Let me go ahead and put that up. That's from Chad Chancellor. I know a few people who were so turned off by the Ridley run, they didn't even give the Eve run a chance, and that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate, but they got to own it. That be my whole thing. Like, you got to own it. I have to be fair as a comic book reviewer, all things considered, and I have to know what I've read, how those writing styles have played out, and be honest about it. Now, if I look at her run, what were some of my complaints about the last guy? T'Challa kept getting his behind kicked. He didn't do that. He ain't took not one L. Okay, well, if that was your complaint about the previous writer, that T'Challa kept taking butt whoopings, okay, well, that's a plus. He ain't took none. Okay, well, if one of your complaints about the previous writer was that previous characters were either killed off or not used at all, well, let me see if I got this right. Deathlock? Lady Nightshade? Sangomar's son and Yobi? Wow. Sister Queen Divine Justice. She's brought up. We got to be her older sister who owns a restaurant. Get out of town. Wait a minute. Hold on. If you were offended by what transpired with the intergalactic empire of Wakanda, I'm not trying to be funny, but she low-key alluded she was headed in a direction in issue 1. She's low-key alluded to it again, just this previous issue. That stuff is off planet. I eat through the wormhole. I eat it on Wakanda Prime. I don't. If you were mad at the last dude for not even acknowledging and doing nothing with it, she acknowledges it and like, yeah, I got plans. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I understand the criticisms. I'm not going to say that, but I just know there were some criticisms from the previous writer, who, by the way, had an overarching story type going on. Like, who was the main villain? It was Jai. Well, when did T'Challa get to hit this dude? Well, first of all, never. Because T'Challa got smoked up like a hot Vienna sausage. It was the last issue. So I don't, I know I'm gonna keep up with these notes. So I got Intelli. What did I get with the last dude? Now, pause for a second. I just want you to think about when you be getting these Panthers. Because I just need us to know I'm not of the mindset that Nahonda made her initial appearance in a Black Panther comic book. Matter of fact, I'm of the mindset Mama Dufall didn't pop up in no Black Panther comic book either. I ain't saying, I'm just saying, I know where Intelli popped up at. And yeah, you could say he popped up in a Black Panther comic book. You could say that, but it wasn't called Black Panther. Who's to say that the next story picks up right from where she left off? Who's to say she isn't writing the next story? Who's to say? Who's to say? I ain't saying, I'm just saying. Like, I hear what the complaints are. I know what the complaints were too. That's my whole thing. I hear what the complaints are. I know what the complaints are too. Now, hey now, you're an all-star. Hey now. I didn't come in to Dr. Ewing'S run with any assumptions whatsoever. I didn't. I didn't come in with any expectation. Do you know why I didn't come in with any assumptions and any expectations? How could I after the previous write? Like how bad does it go from here? Now, why come we didn't get no Green Arrow, Black Canary comparisons? Why come we ain't get no Ant-Man and the Wasp comparisons? We ain't get that. We went to the Batman and we went to the Catwoman comparison. Well, I'm of the mindset that if you never see that image from Christopher Priest in that comic book, you never talking like that. You got it. He's in the city. You could say he was a street level superhero then, because he damn sure wasn't in Wakanda. He was running up walls, right, fighting on roofs and stuff like that. Right. Okay, we read that. The only supernatural thing we saw him do was give Mephisto that fade, right? Okay, cool. So we saw that, right? So we don't want to act like that. Well, that's where you got that Batman image from. Now, if you don't have that Batman image in your head lingering, that Catman image lingering in your head, if you don't hear Christopher Priest resonating, his words resonating in your ears, talking about, oh, the guy in the kitty cat costume, you probably not thinking like that. But perception. Well, all I did was look at Besa. I ain't made no assumption. I can't say that for everybody else. I ain't make no assumption. Because if that was the assumption that I was gonna make for Besa, I could have made them same assumptions by Amalolo from the previous run, right? Last dude was so petty with that whole, you thought it was a love triangle, and then you thought it was just between him and Jai, but we ain't nobody say that, right? Okay, well, I ain't got no expectation. Okay, well, me not having no expectations, I was able to understand. But if I'm able to understand why folks felt a certain type of way, then you should be able to understand when I say, I don't know why you thought that way. Shouldn't have had no expectation. But folks go in with expectations. Folks come in, she writing him like he a street level hero, because that boy's crazy. It's crazy how that been thrown around. You see how that's been thrown around? He's street level. Ain't that a talking point? You notice nobody is really focusing on how much better she's doing than the last dude. The conversation points have been transgender, change of artist, street level, and pick up the pace. How many fights he been in? I'm sorry they not lasting long, but I don't know what to do. We mad because in the last run he getting his head kicked in. For page after page after page, comic after comic after comic, everybody is putting hands on this dude. We come over here, he beating down everybody, and it's only taking a few panels. What pace? How many fights has he been in? Well, he got into a fight with Besa. Didn't last long. Sorry, I don't know what you want me to say. Before Besa, he didn't put hands on the Hatu Zeraze. Not once. But twice, and got them cats to call a whole damn ceasefire. I don't know what we want. He didn't put hands on the damn Deathlock. He has. dude that wanted to take out one of the Nikisu family members. He didn't put hands on the damn sniper. He just put hands on Monet, so much so to the point where basically like, hey, that's him. Calm down. I know who you are. I know. You all that in the bag of chips. You a superhuman. You don't calm down, this dude finna delete you. Those are facts. Those are facts. You read them stories. I read them stories. I don't know what you want me to do. I don't, because the only thing I can think of is that if we replace the Ias-Ijs with him fighting Hunter twice, maybe that moves the needle. I don't know. If we replace the death block with say he fought Namor, I don't know. Maybe that moved the needle. If we say instead of him fighting, I don't know, instead of him fighting Besa, let's say he fight Madam Slave. Does that move the needle? I don't. Instead of him fighting the Ias-Ijs, let's say he fights Hydra. Does that, because them still fights. We just swapping out villains. Suppose the big bad is not Kivisuma. Suppose the big bad is Mephisto. Are we feeling better? I'm just asking questions. Because I understand. I do. I've just read them other stories. And I would love to tell you that each and every last one of them stories was perfect. They weren't. They weren't. They weren't. I would love to tell you that each writer was perfect. They weren't. They weren't. I sent her a letter thanking her and her team for setting T'Challa back. Absolutely. I love the respect that she put to the character. I love the respect that she's shown the characters that had came before her. Honestly, what character did she kill off that came before her? I'll wait. Blood M Heroes with our thanks. Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope it's not true because I enjoyed Dr. Eve L. Ewing'S series of Black Panther. It was my first comic book run I've ever been interested in, and I spent my money on it. It was a good series. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Right. I remember you being optimistic. Now all we did was blink and Dr. Eve Ewing is gone. I mean, I'm gonna touch on that. Who would you like to see if Eve is gone? Oh my God. You know what? Honestly, it's gonna be crazy because I don't even want to say it. I just know that perception is a powerful thing versus reality. So if I get is it Michael Bendis? Michael Bendis, get Bendis on it. Okay, folks gonna read. Now, mind you, he gonna do some of the same stuff he did, but folks gonna read it. Okay, get I said Bendis. What's the other guy? Hickman. Get Hickman on it. Watch what happens. Just watch what happens. Now, his writing style is going to be similar to hers, but watch what happens. Folks going to read it. You know why? And it's just certain things we just need to be real about. Certain expectations we need to be aware of here. We got Immortal X-Men. Who writes Immortal X-Men? Let me take a look at this real quick. Let's take a look at this real quick. Who writes Immortal X-Men? Make sure. Karen Gillan. So you get somebody like that. Now, what do they bring? They bring a built-in fan base. Right? Right. What are some of the challenges that Dr. Eve Ewing was facing off the rip? Well, as you alluded to already, Mr. Kinsler, some people, they were done. Hey, at the Ridley, we're not doing it anymore. Okay, well, I could probably say you're not a real Black Panther fan. So you didn't come back, you left. Okay, well, that's gonna be my argument. So it's almost like not voting per se. You don't have a complaint. Well, she's a woman. I would love to tell you that there isn't an element within the Black Panther fan base that has an issue with women. I'd be lying. I'd be lying. I'm not really a big fan of lying. Um, there's also an element, as my brother D real alluded to last night, that is homophobic. I never understood that. I never did, because I'm like this. If he's gay, that's less competition. I ain't never been mad. I ain't never been mad when a dude tell me I'm gay. For real? That's what's up. I don't know. I'm not gonna be mad because you gay. No, hey. That's one less dude. and hey, it's 2024. That's one less cat I got to worry about. Oh, I see that. Let me see. If I see that dude, he gets Panther claws in his chest. Look at you. That's because they are becoming man children. Is it safe to say Hickman is too common as the Russos are to direct the movies? It's safe to say. That's safe to say. Hickman would put Storm and Black Panther together and write them well. He has tried to put them together a few times, but Marvel always stands in the way. Hickman writing Black Panther would be great. I believe it would be. I mean, because like I said, those writers are going to bring in a fan base. And that fan base is not subject to check out as fast because of that writer. There are things that folks need to be real, be honest about something. Okay, so from what my brother D Real said, T'Challa was 107 or 107. Okay, what Black solo character? And I know people are gonna be like Miles Morales, but you know who he tied to. So, what Black character? I mean, as a matter of fact, I would challenge anybody to go down comic book history and show me a Black title that performed well. And when I say a Black title, I mean a title solo. Don't say nothing to me about no team, because I know people want to allude to X-Men Red. No, I mean, show me a title, solo title, featuring a Black character that did well. Consistently, I might add. Now, if anybody says anything to me about Priest, I'm gonna throw a flag on the play, because I'm gonna be like, Everett Ross was in there. And we know why Everett Ross was in there. That's the other thing. Let's not act like Everett Ross was not in there for the relatability factor. Well, what other character needs a relatability factor? What character? Keep up with these notes. Um, Marvel simply isn't having Storm and T'Challa together. Kind of, if Hickman took over, watch how quick Rob from Comics explained it. That's another part of it. Sorry I'm late, so we canceling a great run that's being given good reviews all of a sudden, huh? Connor says Trooper, and it is amazing. and thank you so much, Connor says Triple Salute, because that's the other thing. When I look at YouTubers, um, you're right. Comic book explained. I think the highest profile people that and I want to make sure I give this brother his shout out and everything like that. Don't Spill Comics. Don't Spill Comics and Ernie Blurred Without Fear. Those are your highest profile YouTubers. The mother cat's not doing that. The mother cat's not doing that. They not doing that. And I'm not saying they have to do that, but they're not doing that. So then you have to ask yourself as a comic book company, well, the character does well, but you can't fault the character for people, as I'm going to say this, and I hope everybody understands this, where I'm coming from. As a comic book company, I would like to think that there are certain characters that are going to face prejudices and biases. So I would ask somebody, no different than if I ask somebody, give me a comic book where the male lead was a black character, and that comic book performed well consistently without needing, because you don't need black eyes to relate to a white character. We're not doing that. We had Robin. Well, what was Robin in the Batman comics for? So the kids could be able to relate more so to Batman through the eyes of Dick Grayson. That's what that was. So we don't want to do that. I would ask the same question in regards to a comic book being led by a female character, regardless of the ethnicity. They still struggling with Wonder Woman. Like, let's not get that twisted. Like, Wonder Woman is not competing with Bruce and Clark. She's not. Miles Morales had 2 12-issue solo runs and a bunch of appearances in other books. Yeah, so it's one of them things where if you're the comic book company, if you're Marvel, and I look at it like this, and I was talking to somebody else the other night, I'm a glass half full, half empty type of person. I can either get some money or I can get no money. Now, if I'm a realist at Marvel, I understand, like I said, there are certain characters that are going to face challenges. If I'm perfectly fine saying that the comic book market, by and large, is controlled by European Caucasian males, okay, well, that's the truth. That's the truth. So right off the rip, I know if I do my comics and they feature mostly, if not all, European males or eye candy for the European male, if I don't set my comic books up like that, okay, well, you better have a real conversation with yourself. That folks get mad. No, don't get mad. Get honest. Have an honest. Okay, well, you finna do a comic book. Okay, well, you finna do a comic book with this black character. Yeah, okay. You like that black character? Yeah, okay. All right. You know any black people? Do you know any black people? No? Okay. Do not get it twisted that just because they went to the movie, they're going to go to the comic book store. Huh? Hum my ass. People that say hunk in here. Just because they showed up and showed out at the movie theater does not mean they're going to do that at the comic book store. Why? Well, culturally speaking, I know what they like to tell you, but culturally speaking, reading comic books is not cool. It's still not. It's not the end thing. It's more acceptable to go get a BBL than read comic books. You have people that know more and can tell you more about BBLs than some comic book characters that they swear are their favorite characters. Okay, well, you need to adjust your expectation level when it comes to these comics you plan on selling. Mm-hmm, yeah. I hate to see the book canceled, but I have to admit I wasn't enjoying the direction and pace of the story. Will Moss needs to work with the future writers on a clear direction for T'Challa going. And that's what I said. I can understand folks saying direction, but when people say pace, you gotta be more specific with me than that. Like I ain't trying to be funny, but folks got to be more specific to me than just say pace. Because I keep hearing people say pace, and if pace is the amount of action in comics, well, it was a lot of action on in the comics. So I'm just being honest. If you read issues one, how many fights he was in again? Because I know he put a person to sleep in issue one. He did. Matter of fact, he got in 3 fights in issue one and put everybody to sleep. Okay, well, he put the person to sleep. Okay. Then he got into it with some tough guys. He put them to sleep. Then he got into it with the Ias-Ijs. He put them to sleep. I need more specific. I get folks not necessarily liking the direction. I get that. I get that. I understand that. I get that all day. I just, when folks say pace though, because I'm talking 2 different things, I need somebody to tell me something. Because I hear what people saying they don't like. I ain't hear nobody say nothing yet about Intelli. I hear what people saying they don't like, but I ain't hearing nothing about the references to characters that came before she took over the book. And I'm just stating fact. I'm just stating fact. I am. I'm just. She even told us when the hot Ias-Ijs came into play. Sure did. I read the comments now. I understand folks saying they don't like the direction, but I did. And then she told you that Imtelli was Azuri's father, and she took T'Challa's bloodline back all the way back to World War One. I ain't hearing none of that. I'm not knocking nobody. Everybody got an opinion. To me, that whole pacing thing, that's a little vague to me. no major villains could have been a major distractor. Make sure I keep over these notes. Let me see here. Just imagine what Hickman would do with the intergalactic empire, Wakanda concept, as well as showing more of the King of the Dead power set. I think what we would have got with Hickman would have came right in, and this is just my opinion. Like I said, everybody got an opinion. I could be right, I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. I believe Hickman would have came in off the rip, wanted to put him back on the throne, and then wanted to move him to a story that encompassed the intergalactic empire, or use a story encompassing the intergalactic empire that resulted in him being back on the throne. That's what I believe we would have got from Hickman. But once again, I could be wrong. Yeah, Hickman would probably do that. No major villains could have been a major detractor. I believe what people mean when they say pace is getting T'Challa back on the throne faster. I need T'Challa back on the throne. That's what I mean by pace. I really want Eve to ignore Voldemort's story. I get that. I get that. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that I say to that is, and it's just me, is that, and it's just me. And this is not you, so please, I pray you don't take it that way. There are more than enough people that say they want him on the throne and won't go back any farther than priest. So, and like I said, I can tell when I'm talking to them that they have not read those stories. So my question then becomes, what's your complaint? What's your complaint? Because it's a whole bunch of stories back there, and I can't even tell you they're as good as what she's writing right now. Well, he was the king of he was the king of Wakanda. So to me, it's just, I don't want to cheapen the result for the sake of, I don't want to cheapen the story for the result. And as I alluded to before, when we look at the stories that Hickman has given us stories that have done the exact same thing. Even when I alluded to the stories in regards to Coates and Priest and Hutton, there were huge overarching stories where you saw the big bad initially, and you didn't see the big bad again for like 12 issues. But we liked them runs though. Okay, so what was the difference? Because I know for a fact, watch this. Was he the king of Wakanda during Hutton's run? Them last 12 issues, was he? No, he wasn't. Did you like it, story? Did you read it? Did you like it? That's a rhetorical question. Did you like Doom War? He wasn't the king of Wakanda. He wasn't. If that's the sticking point, he wasn't sitting on the throne. Well, did you like Avengers versus X-Men? He wasn't the king of Wakanda. Did you like Time Runs Out? He wasn't the king of Wakanda. He wasn't. His sister was. Okay. Now, them fair questions. And I think it's safe to say that all them storylines were long. We knew who the big bad was, but we didn't see the big bad, the titular hero, face off against the big bad till later on. He wasn't the king of Wakanda. Make sure them likes is here. Appreciate it. Come on, you appreciate it. I'm fine with Wakanda being back off in the background. Give me T'Challa. I need T'Challa not getting his ass whooped. I'm sorry, sponsors. I'm sorry. I need T'Challa not getting his behind beat. I need T'Challa being treated with respect. I need that more than anything else because I can get that crown back. I can get that crown back. I can. We get that back. We get that back. My dog ain't had no respect going on last year. He did. He ain't had no respect going on last year. None. And watch this. I don't even know, because he been fading everybody in every issue, and M. Telly got rid of Kavisi quick, fast, and in a hurry. I don't expect T'Challa to have no problem with the way he been writing him. I don't expect T'Challa to have no problem with that dude. But like I said, I like constructive criticism, and I like for critiques to be fair. I like for critiques to be fair. Is she a bad writer? Yes or no? Oh, hold on. Hey, bro. What's wrong? Before I say, can I speak for you? And I mean,